Welcome back to another Alcohol and Anime Night unboxing, this time with the Bandai Spirits Chainsawman Power Figure. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me once again for another unboxing and another Power Figure. You know I do love Power. I do have her attached to me on my arm, so I guess I was kind of meant to do this one. So I got this figure at a pretty reasonable price. I want to say it was well under $25, and I didn't really expect much and kind of just had it sitting back there. You probably saw it for a couple of videos. So this is my second Power Figure, the first one being the Jaya one that I unboxed some time ago. And I must say, the very first thing that is pretty obvious, this thing is really big. I had no idea it was actually going to be this big. I probably could have read the description, but I truly just expected it to be just a regular prize figure size. It is larger than that, and we'll get to that. And so I noticed it straight out of the box, it just was bigger, and the fact that it came in two pieces really let me know that this was going to be something that was a little special for my collection. So this figure retails for about $32.83. I only found a couple of places that had it, and I had seen it out in the wild. It was just a little bit more than I was willing to spend, and again, I didn't really know the size of it, so I kind of held off and I ended up getting it for around $20-some. I'll have to figure out $25, $26, something like that, and that was about what I was willing to pay. And I'm very glad that I did. This larger scale of figure is something I haven't gotten into yet. Usually those cost quite a lot more, and so I'm satisfied to get this. Really, with the larger size, it does allow for a bit more detail. It allows you to get a little bit more detail in the eyes, a little bit more detail in the hands and feet, and that's something that is oftentimes missing. Even like you said with their shorts here, you can see some of the wrinkles and bunching, tearing, whatnot, even her individual fingers. Real well done. One thing I will say, that a little kind of just flat on the hair, nothing, not any gradation, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So she goes together pretty simply. It's really just, she's separated at the waist, so it goes together, so it's no weird joints there. It's just where her normal shirt will be separated. And then of course there is this toilet piece. And I'll get back to that later. I actually have a couple of issues with it, frankly. So let's talk about the figure itself, and let's see if we can talk about the old PP touch. And the P first stands for the paint, the second P is for pose, and the last is for touch. How does it feel? So let's start with that first one, the paint. Really excellent painting on the eyes, and they better be, because they're a lot larger than some of the other figures, so of course the eyes are really good. The red on her horns, also excellent. I really feel like that's the one thing you have to nail. I've seen these horns be a little bit more pink sometimes, and they've got to be bright red. That's what color they're meant to be, so excellent there. The paint on the graphic on her shirt, and then she has like a strap here. That also looks pretty good. And I will say, on the shorts, there probably could have been just a little extra hit of paint. Maybe some lighter color just to kind of give it a little bit, but I'm not disappointed. Even the inside of her mouth and the teeth are painted, so I'm satisfied, and it looks pretty good here. So I'm gonna say that's worth it for the price, of course. Now, again, my price was around $20-some. Yours might end up being quite a lot more. It could be a third more. So let's talk about the pose. Now this pose, if you don't know, is in reference to something that happens a little bit later, and it's after Denji does something quite nice for her. She repays him by making a promise and making good on that promise, and then she's letting you know that you get 3. And if you don't know the scene, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'll probably spoil it for you anyway. So that pose is perfect. I mean, it's exactly the way you'd expect it to be. So that's a total win on that side. Her bottom is flat, so it sits on this toilet throne. And so let's lastly talk about the touch. How does it feel? It's quite weighty. It actually isn't quite as heavy as that Nejiri Hado My Hero Academia figure. So it it's very solid, but it's not as heavy as I expected to be for the size, but nothing's floppy. Everything's very solid here. So definitely for the touch side of it, excellent. They didn't make anything squishy on the front though. I feel like they could have, they missed out on something. Now let's talk about some of the things they didn't get right on this. And I know you might be like, what do you expect for basically, I paid under $25, $26 for it. This is under $33. What do you really expect for something this size? I will say a couple of things. Number one, and it's going to be a little hard to see it here, but when she's on this toilet here, her foot actually is about a 1/4 inch off the ground from the, so it doesn't rest on the ground, meaning it doesn't support itself. So it does sit on there, but it would be a lot more stable if her foot was also on the ground. And so it's not like flying off or anything, but it just would be, it would have been nice. This did not need to be this tall. They could have easily shaved a 1/4 inch off of that, and it would have allowed for her foot to sit on there. So that's a little bit of a miss in my opinion. The other thing is that while this is a pretty good representation of the front of the toilet, I would have paid an extra couple bucks to actually just have the whole thing that you could sit on. And it would have made the whole thing a little bit, I mean, you could have saved some of the plastic here and put it over here, even if it was just super hollow, just anything to get that background image of it. So I know that's really nitpicking, but that would have made this a must get. That would have made this a must buy. As it is, it's still really good. So what's my verdict on this? Now, if you want to compare her, let's first of all, we compare her to the previous Jaya Power figure, which is very good. I really like that. And then there's also the Furia Makima Noodle Stopper, and that was about, they're about 1/12 scale. So this is definitely a larger scale than that. So I would say if you can get it for that kind of under $30 price, you're really getting a good value. It's definitely something that's going to catch people's eye. They're going to ask it. I always have wild things in and out of here, and this was sitting on the table for just a few minutes and people already had something to say about it. Like, what is that? Is she on a toilet? That's crazy. So it is something that's going to be interesting for your collection, and if you're a Power fan, this is a must buy. So I would say for the Bandai Spirits Power, and the figure's called It Was a Promise, right? And that's of course a reference to what happens in the show. I think you already know what happens in the show, but still, $33 is the retail price for this, which is a typical kind of prize figure price, but I do think you're getting something larger than a prize figure, and also with the base that adds something. You could probably make this sit on a shelf as well. Her hand is kind of in a way that's not flat, so if you had something where she could wrap around it, that could be pretty cool. You could have a much more interesting display, or maybe you have another toilet that fits better. In any case, I really like it, and I'm so glad I picked this one up. Until next time, my name is Scott. Kampai.